let's get started. It's Fanfiction Temp Theater 9005. I am your host, Sneaky Devil, once more, into the breach. Not quite sure what we're doing today, honestly. Gonna be real.
Huh?
I have not been really looking for fanfic recently.
I
haven't
thank
either.
God.
It's just
It's
like,
probably been great for your mental health.
I mean, I guess.
Somebody posted a young vampires cohabitation arrangements to QQ, and I've been reading that. It's actually pretty good.
Somebody,
The only thing
what?
that I'm looking for I'm looking for one thing in fanfiction right now.
Yeah.
I am attempting to rediscover Fire Emblem fanfiction where
Ooh.
Marth's normal love interest dies, so he goes for the ultra angry warrior queen.
Ooh.
Okay.
Angry Warrior Queen sounds sexy.
Okay,
Anyway,
let me put it this
what
way.
were you saying about habitation agreement?
Found that on QQ. Somebody posted it, and I've been reading it. It's actually really good.
Oh yeah, you know, I don't. Well, I mean, yeah, there's the fanfiction.net version too. I just prefer the fanfiction.net version because their update system is very clear, and you always know when the author updates, and you know, it's just, I don't know. The forums really need to fix their notification system.
This is
Yeah, that they do. Oh, by the way, sign that female warrior queen. Let me put it this way:
Yes.
she's so metal that her brother sided with the Dark Dragon. She fucked off, rescued her sister, and decided to help lead an insurrection against her brother. And when Marth goes, "Are you sure you want to fight your brother?" She's like, "History needs to remember that when the king of Macedon fucked up, the queen unfucked it."
What's her name?
Minerva.
Oh, that's Minerva's backstory.
Yeah, no. McAllis decides to work for the Dark Dragon, and she decides, no, that's not gonna fly, bro. And so she's like, I will fucking 1v1 you. And wins.
Sexy redhead.
Indeed. Anyway, so yeah, I just haven't been really looking into fanfic because, like, personally, all of the stuff I looked up fanfic for is now over a decade old.
God, yes.
We're now approaching.
Did you attack your own life points directly with that knowledge, Sneaky?
I did, yeah, and we're approaching 2 decades old on some of the stuff I look up.
Stop! You're getting us out of AOD.
If I have to take myself down, I will. But
He sank the ship to kill the captain. He did.
I sank the ship to kill the fucking crew. I am the captain.
You're more like the cabin boy with delusions of grandeur.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Then who's the fucking captain here, huh?
I don't think there's a captain. I think this is a ship without any captain.
That's fair enough. Either way, yeah, so I kind of was just like, I had this realization of, like, all of the ideas that could have been done pretty much have been done, and the fandoms that I enjoy reading stuff from aren't getting a lot of new blood in them, and the new blood they are getting are these fucking Zoomers who have never read a good story in their fucking lives. You know, you say Lord of the Rings to them, and they think the Hobbit movie and Rings of Power.
God.
You know, like, you say Star Wars to them, and they think of Rey Skywalker, as she's now known. You know, like, you don't get the same people. You say Halo, and you think of people who are major fans of Halo 6 or 5 or whatever it fucking is. Like,
I don't think anyone was a major fan of Halo 5.
You're wrong. I know lots of people who are fans of Halo 5, and they've never played Halo 1, 2, or 3.
So they're heretics.
No,
Isley,
they're Zoomers.
Could you keep that language out of the Twitch chat?
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reach was
know
good.
better.
Obviously, Reach was good.
Reach was great.
you know, it's just unfortunately is our generation got the good stuff, and the coming generation got the degraded, shitty, fucking like 20-year-old printer
How the hell do I
photocopied
delete a
of a
message?
photocopy. You have to time
they've
them out.
removed. Yeah, we're gonna time out up 10 seconds there.
Just to remove that.
Yep.
Twitch, you wanna? Huh? I'm unable to time it up for some reason.
Really, you can't time them out?
It's just not responding.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there you go.
There.
What'd he say?
Oh, he said the naughty word that he's
He
not
said
allowed
the gamer
to say.
word.
The GG word?
The light A instead of the hard R. Yes, no. Twitch does not like either of those words, Isley. You should know this by now.
It's not news. It's not rocket science. People have been explicitly warned not to say it.
Either way, you know, it's just like there is no good. There's good games. Don't get me wrong. There's good games out there, but they don't have good stories.
There are a
Valheim.
few that do.
Well, Valheim, for example, great game, very fun. There's no story to it. You know, Minecraft, very fun. There's no story to it. You know,
That's because a lot of these are focusing on gameplay and not story. This is also where you're seeing
right.
the death of single player games.
Yeah,
where
everyone wants to be a live
develop-
service. Everyone wants to
Yes.
be a multiplayer game. Everyone wants to be this
Yep.
battle royale garbage. Yeah, I know. That's kind of what
Exactly.
the point is. And like hell, even look at Obsidian, Outer Worlds. I currently have like 140 some hours in the game, right? I'm playing through the campaign. I have all the DLCs, all of that fun gunk. It's got good gameplay now. The story leaves a lot to be desired. They tried to go, like, you remember New Vegas, right? You guys all remember New Vegas. You guys all remember, like, the older Obsidian games, right?
Look, I played Outer Wilds when it first came out, right?
Outer Worlds.
Or
Outer
Outer
Wilds
Worlds,
is a different
whatever.
game.
Yeah, Outer Worlds, sorry. And it's just a sad, pale New Vegas to me, and it
Yeah,
always will be.
Exactly. Yes, that's my point. Is like, if you compare Outer Worlds to the older Obsidian games, the story is just a pale imitation of what they used to make, and it goes for all of these companies that used to be known for making good story-based games. And even when they go and try and make more story-based games, you just look at the story and you're like, this is just less interesting, less immersive, less fun.
Not all of them. I mean, you've got things like Final Fantasy 15, Persona, and so on and so forth that are standouts. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, you're right.
Right. Okay, so you were able to name 2 games of the 680 that came out this year and last year.
PS5 was good.
Okay, 3 games. So we got
Elden Ring was fantastic.
Elden Ring's plot was kind of what the fuck, though.
But the problem, okay, so Soulsborne games, again, are great games. They're very fun. FromSoft does shit story.
They do
kind of
good lore story, but they
Yeah.
don't do
Their,
good.
yes, their lore is
Yeah.
great, but the problem is they don't
Yeah,
tell a
that's-
story with it. You have to go
Yeah,
find
that's
it all,
production
and you
was-
have to build your own story, and you know your story
Yeah.
is going to be different from someone else's story. If neither of you watched VaatiVidya, what my
I mean,
gameplay?
okay, hang on.
Yeah.
I want to say, I think, despite being open world, I think Elden Ring had the most straightforward, like,
Oh,
and the
yeah,
most
absolutely.
plot
Yeah.
information of any, like,
Yeah.
right? I know someone, Elden Ring was their first Souls game,
That's
and
me.
they were fully capable of comprehending the presented surface level plot.
Sure.
I mean,
And they
the
were like,
others-
yeah, it was interesting.
Well, the others have had roughly a similar story, though. It's here's your goal. go to the goal.
Right, but that's the thing.
It's always been that.
But that's the
Like,
thing,
the only
though.
difference is there's been more voice acting, and they got Grimm to write a story that
Right.
took place 2,000 years before the game.
But that's the rub of it, though. Is yes, Elden Ring was more put together in its story presentation, but if none of us watched VaatiVidya and we all stuck to only our playstyle and we all played through alone, only doing our playstyle, we would probably come together and then all have different ideas of what some of the story was.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Souls games are a good example of world building, really.
Well, two, that's your typical branching storyline kind of thing, and another where you have missable or entirely skippable parts of the story.
And not only that, it's that some of the story comes directly from finding that one item. So if you're not a big collector and you don't find that one item that has that one flavor text that is like, actually, this is what happened, then your idea of what's going on is going to be completely different. Like, I knew people who played Elden Ring who had no idea why all the merchants were gathered together in that tower.
Yeah, that too. Or like the turtlenecks and the, what was it, the grapes? The eyeballs.
Yeah. Like, I've known people I talked about Elden Ring with, and they had no idea about some of these, like, major plot points that aren't directly told to you by the game.
And that style of storytelling is just fucking dumb, but
it's not dumb in its existence. It's bad if you want to weave a cohesive narrative that you want to deliver to your players. So if the goal was to deliver a cohesive narrative that everyone understood immediately, then yes, it was bad. But that's not how Soulsborne games have ever had their lore and story built. They've always been more of the exploration, rewarding. And the people poking at every corner sort of thing is what's rewarded in Soulsborne games.
I don't want to see what this new Harry Potter game is like.
I want to see that as well. I do. But like, I'm gonna let's go through my fucking game list here. That doesn't have a story. 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 Dying Light 2, again, good gameplay, shit story. Dying Light 1, good gameplay, shit story. State of Decay 2. State of Decay 1, mild gameplay, passable story. State of Decay 2, decent gameplay, forgettable story. Stardew Valley can't really use that. It's got a decent story, but you know, you're not really writing a lot of fictions about Stardew Valley that isn't just, this is what my OC did in my game. Control, okay, this was a rare one. But this was by basically a company that no one ever heard of. Very few people know about this game.
I still need to play that.
I need
Honestly,
to
I found it very fun. The telekinetic combat was probably my favorite part about it.
Thanks to GOG.
Yeah.
Dirt fucking cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic. I think I got it $20 for everything on GOG.
I got it for $7.
I think I'm maybe third to halfway through the game, worth every penny. I just need to finish it.
Days Gone.
Good gameplay, good decent story.
Is it like Second Sight from PS2 or 3? I want to say.
The easiest way to describe Control would be you're playing SCP, but it's slightly less horrifying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a good one. You're playing SCP, but all of the enemies are of the same theme, and you have telekinetic powers.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some really interesting background stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing how it resolves.
Here we go. Days Gone. But this is like, Days Gone is the opposite of the problem. Days Gone has such a filled-in story, I suppose you could say. And the way it was weaved was so cohesive that it had great gameplay, a great story, great delivery, and just all around, I 100% of the game. Which should tell you a lot.
Fair.
Right. as someone that typically doesn't do that ever. I loved Days Gone. I loved the shit out of Days Gone. The problem with Days Gone, however, is twofold. Onefold, Sony sabotaged the shit out of the game.
They've been doing that a lot recently.
Yeah. They made sure to not promote it. They actively made it an exclusive, and just, again, didn't promote it on their own store. And then they denied the Days Gone team the ability to write a sequel because no one was showing interest in it. And it's like, yeah, no one was showing interest in it because no one knew about it because you didn't fucking promote it. You removed their promotional budget. Like,
yeah.
No shit, then you prevented it from going onto the other platforms, and when it went onto other platforms, the popularity for the game fucking skyrocketed.
So some of the mechanics were kind of crap, though, like especially with the bike and fuel.
Really? I had no issues at all with it. I mean, yes, fuel was basically regulated to the point where it was almost not even worth having it in the game. Because there was almost no point in time where I ever had an issue. I kept an eye on my fuel gauge the whole game. I played on the hardest difficulties. I never had an issue with my fuel running out because I wasn't fucking stupid.
Shots fired.
Yeah, you know, on normal, there is so many fuel cans, you have to actively be retarded to not see a fuel can in normal mode.
Damn.
But again, it's one of those mechanics where it was just such a non-problem mechanic that you kind of ask, why is it there? And then you realize the reason why it's there is because it would feel weird if your bike had infinite fuel and everything else wasn't. You know, everything else is limited but your bike's fuel, and that would just make it feel weird.
I assume you topped off every time you went to a base or something.
You topped off every time you go to a base, whenever you drive by a gas station. You know, there's literally hundreds of trucks on the road that have fuel cans in the back because they're tow trucks. Like, it's very easy to get fuel. It's very easy to refill your bike if it ever gets low. And the purpose of the fuel can was more or less at the start of the game to prevent you from just going wide-ranging right at the start. It was meant to keep you in certain areas and prevent you from just traveling across the entire map in one go. So it was meant to... It was meant to encourage you to unlock travel points where you could get more fuel.
It's also meant to encourage spending more time in the game.
Yes. But like I said, the game was fantastic. There was never a point in time that I was frustrated with any of its mechanics. And you can ask Max, I am easily frustrated with game mechanics.
Oh yeah. The only thing he complained about in that game, I think, was the fuel thing he just mentioned about it.
Yeah.
Why even bother?
The only other complaint I could think about right now is they introduce a Super Molotov late in the game, and then the Super Molotov acquires one extra resource over the normal Molotov, except that one extra resource is extremely rare, and for some reason you can't buy crafting resources from the camps. So
that sounds dumb.
It is really dumb, especially because the crafting resources are like rags of cloth, empty beer bottles, jugs.
It's really fucking dumb.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, you can't buy this, you know, petrol explosive nitroglycerin canister. It's like, no, for some reason I can't stock up on strips of cloth.
Yes.
But again, they had enough around the world that it was kind of a non-problem. I just thought that was a little bit like question mark. But like I said, though, the story for Days Gone is so good, I don't want to read fanfiction of it.
That's fair.
because the story was good. I don't have any issues with the story. There was no point in time in the story I went like, oh, I could write this scene better. Like, I liked all of the scenes. They were delivered excellently in my mind to me.
Well, those usually you want sequel. That's what the fanfiction is supposed to
I fucking
provide.
wanted the sequel so goddamn hard and got pissed when they didn't go for it. But the problem I would have trying to read fanfiction where where a fan would try and write a sequel is if you don't 100% the game, you don't actually know the lore. Because they added a scene, if you 100% the game, they added a final scene to the game that completely changes how the lore works.
Yeah, but everybody knows that most games these days have tiered completion style bonuses, so most everybody's going to try to 100% it.
No, my dude.
Yeah,
generation knows.
Dude, most people don't even finish games these days.
Our generation knows because we grew up on games that did that.
Like, in all seriousness, if you go and look at the statistics for people getting right, it's really easy. You can go and look at just about any given game.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm actually going to bring up the achievements right now.
The main story, right?
Yeah, let me go bring up the achievements, and I'll tell you exactly how many people 100%ed the game. Oh wow, no percentages even listed for this. Wait, what happened to? Where's the percentages? Where do you find the percentages again?
You have to go to global if you're on Steam.
Go to global. Wait, so I click view my achievements and then go what? Global? Oh, view global achievement stats. Okay, yeah. Here we go. All right, so let's go. Complete the story, new game plus survival mode. Reach the founder rank. No. Okay, so we're looking at around. We're looking at around. Jesus Christ. 20%. No, 18%. 18% of the people that played Days Gone know how it ends.
That's bad.
Yeah. And
unless they're watching YouTube videos.
I mean, yeah, sure, yeah, totally. They could absolutely watch the YouTube video of secret ending Days Gone. But how would they even know that there's a secret ending to Days Gone without looking up?
Because you expect for there to be a secret ending. It's a thing that has been since fucking
our generation.
A lot of games.
Our generation knows there's secret endings. Yeah.
Don't have that because they don't do single player anymore.
They don't do single player anymore. They don't expect people to actually finish their game on top of that. And then on top of that, most of the kids of this generation, they grew up playing shit like I'm not gonna say Anthem because no one played Anthem. But
I played Anthem.
Okay, so did I, but
most people play Anthem.
Yeah. Games that don't have an end.
Well, no, like Titanfall 2, for example. There's no secret ending of Titanfall 2.
Okay.
Like...
But you expect there to be some kind of secret ending. That's what it was. It was, do all the stuff, you get the bonus for doing the stuff.
I hate to break this to you, old man, but we are from a different time.
I remember when beating Halo on Legendary got you the special grab-ass ending.
Yeah, and you know what? They don't do that anymore.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah. Like I said.
Yeah.
People don't do that shit anymore. We get shit like Shadows of War Middle-earth, which was a meh game with meh gameplay mechanics. And no one's, I'm not going to look up fanfiction for it. No one's going to write fanfiction for it. Stellaris, Europe Universalis, all of these autism games, obviously, I don't want to read anyone's fanfiction for because they're just going to tell me how their playthrough went, which not really interested in reading in a story format that's never going to get finished anyway.
And sure as shit, I don't want to read edgy Dante fanfiction for whatever the fuck new version of that is now.
Exactly. And, we got games like Surge 2. Again, Very fun game. Tried to rip off Dark Souls with Surge 1. Really found its niche in Surge 2. I thought the gameplay was good. The story was... It was alright. I give it like maybe a 7 out of 10. It kept me interested. I wasn't like invested in the story, but I was like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, I remember that character. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. You know, like, I kept going with it. Surge was good, but again, I would never read fan fiction of it.
Mass Effect has a lot of decent fan fiction.
Mass Effect is, again, a very old series, and its fandom is lost a lot of its writers, and...
It's not that old.
My dude.
Yes, it is.
My dude.
You're killing me.
My dude. It is a decade and a half old.
You're killing me. I'm taking HP damage.
HP and sanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, the alt history fanfics. Yeah, it's just like at that point, why am I reading a fanfic? I might as well just go read an alt history story, which some of them are pretty fucking good, but still, it's like at the end of the day, the fanfic themselves is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna read a let's see, Borderlands 3 fanfic, because the Borderlands had such an enjoyable story to it that I want to go read fanfics of it now.
3 was garbage, 1 and 2 had good story.
Oh yeah, no, they had great story, but you know what? The Zoomer generation played? They played 3. You know who's writing fanfics these days? Zoomers and us.
And us, yeah.
So it's like
old guard.
Best consumers are Zoomers.
The consumers are the Zoomers. And so it's like, but the problem is like, okay, so I'm gonna go write a Borderlands 2 fan, but you know, based on Borderlands 1 and 2 fanfic. Okay, and what are you gonna do with it? You're gonna just rewrite your playthrough of Borderlands 2, or you're gonna go somewhere new with it? Or if you go somewhere new with it, now you have a shit ton of people bitching about how you're not going with the direction of Borderlands 3, and it's just like, if people are just gonna complain about everything I write, why am I writing it? And then a lot of people stop writing it. And now, on one hand, that is a very useful mechanic to use against people, because there is a lot of stories out there that I don't believe should be written in the first place. And not just because they're filled with pedophile furry trash. Sometimes they're just really bad stories, or the author's just being a dumbass and wants to tell us they're edgy OC. And, you know, fair enough, but at the same time, there's a lot of good stories that could have been told out there, but unfortunately the game's sequelitis kicked in, and it absolutely ruined the canon. I mean, you know, Warcraft is actually a great example of this. Gray and I can talk a lot about this, where the lore for Warcraft of up until Wrath of Lich King was fairly easy, all things considered, when it came to trying to write a story for it, because there was a lot to work with to write a story. But now, if you try to include up into Shadowlands lore, adventurers are now basically these fucking canonized demigods that live outside of time and space, and everyone and their mother has a fucking ultra giga plan that revolves around manipulating everyone else's ultra giga plan to make their ultra giga plan the real true ultra giga plan.
That's fucking dumb.
And so now you can't write anything because everyone's got some sort of shadow plot going on, and it's like, all right, well, what if my character starts a faction? Oh, well, what kind of shadow plots involving them? Literally everyone's. Okay, so now you have to take care of all of these shadow plots with the butterfly effects from them if you want to write in a new World of Warcraft story. And so people don't write fan fiction for World of Warcraft that much anymore. I saw a lot of fanfic back in the day when during the Watlook era, because everyone was like, oh, but what if this character was the Lich King instead? And, you know, other shit like that. And was it good? Meh. But were there a lot of people that were really invested in the idea of alt history World of Warcraft, and there was a lot of flexibility with that, because back in the day, all we knew about the Lich King was that the Legion was involved, and they were just picking people who would theoretically cause a massive amount of chaos and destruction, and there was a lot of people that could fit that bill, and so you had a lot of ideas about how it could have gone. There you go. But now it's like some sort of super ultra retroactively changed gigaplot that's being generated by 17 different factions who all can see into the future, and it's just like fucking shoot me sideways into a goddamn sun.
Jesus.
It's not good.
It's bad. It's real bad.
At least there's porn of it still.
Warcraft? Yeah.
There's still porn of it.
Eh.
China, come on.
There's a new expansion, Dragonlands. Yeah, Dragonlands, it makes me almost want to get back into it.
You are just the lowest common denominator sign, and I'm gonna pay you to write a fan fiction, which depresses me.
The paying him to write the fan fiction or the fan fiction's premise?
Dragon.
I mean, really just all of it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Don't forget the can't write side of things is that WoW and Warcraft now have lots of different lore. Yeah, exactly. It's just like there's just so much fucking shit going on now in Warcraft that writing a fan fiction for it is like it's like trying to write a fan fiction for the current state of Ruby.
Oh God.
It's just like I got to now account for all of this garbage when I'm trying to write my story, or I can ignore it all and listen to just the endless tramping of whining fans at me, which is going to demotivate me to write it any further.
The fandom.
We got Horizon Zero Dawn. Cool, interesting story. Sequelitis murdered it.
I'm not writing fan fiction for that, and I wouldn't read a fan fiction for it.
Right, exactly. But that's again, it's the same thing. It's like it's self-contained. I mean, what can you possibly write a fan fiction for this series for? Like, oh, well, my version of Ayla went out and was a bigger badass before everyone else. It's like, all right, cool, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I'm just scrolling through all this, and I can't find a single game that I would be like, oh, I would like to see fanfiction of this. I'm going back all the way to 2019 now of games on my played list where I can't find a single fucking game that I would go, oh, yeah, I would like to read fanfiction for this.
Part of your problem is you're looking in games that it's a dead end in a lot of places.
It really is.
And for a lot of games, rather. But you go anime or books or anything else, and yeah, you can find some decent ones.
Okay, well, I'm gonna counter this now. So anime and manga talk. So let's talk anime and manga in the current state of it. Why would I read a fan fiction of an anime or a manga when I can just go online and find a recently translated light novel, web novel, or manga that probably has the exact same premise but isn't being constrained by the AU world it's written in?
That is fair.
Yeah.
Because you want to give me money, that's why.
Well, I don't give them money anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Like, manga and anime have reached the state where it's just like everything's a fan fiction at this point, including the quality of these new stories. Like, some of these new stories, I'm just sitting here, I'm just like, what the fuck is going on?
Some of them are kind of bad.
Like that one story that was sort of interesting at the start, with the person locked inside the sword and they get a bunch. It's basically gamers, but
reincarnated as a sword.
Reincarnated as a sword, yeah. If you guys have kept up on that one at all?
No.
It has gone absolutely fucking batshit in its lore.
Huh?
And I don't mean in a good way. I mean, it introduced a whole bunch of stuff and mechanics about power, obviously power escalation. And on top of all of this power escalation, it completely contradicts itself what it told the readers earlier in previous chapters. Like, one of these characters who had this big, hard fight against this dungeon, turns out that actually his mom is God.
What?
And she could have just cleared the dungeon literally by blinking, Except the way they portrayed it in the story up until this point was that this character was like at the end of their rope. They had no one else to turn to. They had nothing left. And this was their final hoorah before they died because they didn't think they would make it. They didn't think they would clear the dungeon and live. But it turns out actually there was never any tension at all because their mom's fucking God.
How did
did he know his mom at that point?
I'm sorry. How did this like relatively feel good sword dad adopts cat daughter turn into that?
Because the author because the author, again, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to fucking fan fiction, is the author fell into the same trap that every other fucking gamer story falls into is, oh shit, the main character is getting all of these stat boosts, but I already built up all of these other characters to be like these legendary super figures, but they're already beating these characters in terms of strength. So now, before this character gets introduced, I now have to make them even stronger so they can show that they're still legendary.
Power creep.
It's a lot like with Aragon, where the author built up Galbatorix so much by the time the fight actually had to happen. The author, in a post-writing interview, the author actually admitted that the reason why Aragon ended the way it did was because he realized by the time the fight occurred that the hero physically could not win against the villain due to the fact of how much he built up Galbatorix.
Yeah, no, that's just bad writing.
I mean, it is bad writing, but the problem is that it's a very easy trap to fall into, especially when you're trying to write a story that involves a lot of fucking numbers. And when you involve a lot of fucking numbers, you have to show your characters getting stronger. And at first, what's the difference between 5 strength and 10 strength? That's a doubling of strength. But to get that doubling again, you now have to go to 20 strength. And to get that doubling again, you have to go to 40 strength. And at the point where your character has 400 strength, to get that doubling again, to show real noticeable gains to the viewer, you have to get 800 strength.
It's the Don Machi problem.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean, it's the problem of any writing system that relies heavily on
Dragon Ball was
numbers.
fan fiction quality, but it's still acclaimed. Dragon Ball is acclaimed simply because of the time and place it came out in. Just like Harry Potter is a middling story at best, but due to the fact that the time and the place and the popularity it hit off with just a bunch of fucking random chances coinciding, it became the most popular fucking story of a generation. That's just how it is. It was just luck. It was time, place, and market saturation.
Which, okay. This is why you don't go with hard numbers and shit. You never do, because then you can't fudge the numbers in the background.
Oh yeah, that was like a writing tip that was given to me in like middle school that has stuck with me for some reason. If you plan on writing fiction in your future, kids, do not stick to hard numbers.
Yeah.
Make it as vague as you can. If you need a hard number, like if you need to set like a time limit, it's fine to go ahead and say they looked at the clock, saw it was like 11 something, and they have an hour to do what they need to. Like that's fine. But keep it as vague as you can.
Yeah, exactly. Underplayed. Some famous classic horror movies like Friday the 13th are mediocre in hindsight, but they were great due to the time period they came out in. Exactly, yeah. And Isley, Dragon Ball is getting new releases and is absurdly popular. You know why they're absurdly popular? Look at fucking PewDiePie. You know why PewDiePie's popular? He's popular because he's popular.
Member berries also.
Right, but he's popular.
They're going for nostalgia.
Right, but he's popular because he's popular. Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball GT and Dragon Ball whatever the fuck they slap onto the end of Dragon Ball is going to be popular because it's popular.
It already has a huge fan base, yes.
It is literally going to float on itself until they kill the series by doing something so drastic it loses the old fans and doesn't bring in new ones. Just look at World of Warcraft. They did exactly that. WoW was popular because of, at the time it came out in, it was unique, revolutionary, and it just hit at the exact moment it needed to. Looking
The only
back,
way to truly kill Dragon Ball would be to get rid of Goku completely.
why isn't Boruto popping off? Because there was a bunch of other things that already were going. One Piece was going. Dragon Ball's still going. You know, there's a bunch. Boruto again. Again, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach all popped off during a time where they were looking for the new Ranma, Dragon Ball, and what was the other one? The other big third, Yu Yu Hakusho.
Well, Boruto was popping off for like the first, I want to say 20 episodes of its anime run. And then it just kind of disappeared.
Because it's garbage.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they've started making new Naruto side stories.
I'm not surprised at all, yeah.
Last week I got to read Sasuke fighting a Utah raptor.
Nice.
That was kind of surreal seeing a dinosaur in Naruto. Outside of a filler.
But
it's a summon.
Marvel is a good example of this. Star Wars is a good example of this. World of Warcraft's a good example of this. Is eventually you reach market saturation point, at which point people stop being interested in the raising of the stakes, people stop being interested in the new characters, people stop being interested in these growing worlds simply because the new content isn't that great. The old fans are getting tired of the regurgitated stuff, and it's just all around, you're just poking holes in your giant ship.
It's not just that, it's also things like Marvel are going completely fucking woke, like, I don't know, She-Hulk.
Please, do not sit here and really act like Marvel going woke is any reason as to why they're doing poorly. They're doing poorly because their writing is shit. Them going woke has zero effect on it.
Here's the thing.
The Star Wars movies raked in dick buckets of money, and they were woke as shit. They were so fucking woke, they eliminated the black guy and the gay kiss scene from their movies to pander to the Chinese audience.
Yeah, but with the Marvel stuff, it is actually shit, specifically because they're trying to push wokeification.
But it's... I talked to normies, dude. I got family members that said Rings of Power was good.
No, what? No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Bro.
It's fan fiction.
I talk to normies, okay? Yeah, my family's retarded, I know. But that's the thing. Normies. Dude, no, you don't understand. I talk to normies. They all think this shit is good. They're not fans of it, though, and that's the key difference. It comes on, they watch it, they move on.
Okay. I gotcha. They're not in...
Yeah, you can certainly argue that the progressive attitudes of the writers directly affected the writing capacity and quality. I'll certainly agree to you with that, but the wokeness of the writing isn't what's losing people. The shit writing is what's losing people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like, here's the thing, right? You brought up She-Hulk. Here's the flaw with the argument. She-Hulk has always been an incredibly progressive comic.
Yeah.
Like, always. It's just they didn't handle writing it well. She-Hulk has been immensely popular despite being woke for many years because She-Hulk's been well written and brought up good points.
Yeah.
And the series doesn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no. But that's our point, right? It has nothing to do with She-Hulk.
It has nothing to do with any of the wokeness. It has nothing to do with female Thor. The problem is is they're losing the old fans because the writing quality is going down and the characters the old fans are invested in are being retired, but they're not gaining new fans because the normies will go and seek and consume product, but they don't stick around.
They have no retention.
Yeah. They'll buy the ticket, they'll go to the blockbuster movie, they'll earn dick buckets of money, but they're not going to buy the figurines. They're not going to buy the shirts and the toys and the posters. And yeah, you'll have a couple people that do, but the couple people aren't anywhere near the value. And the problem is on top of all of that, you have these companies who are now looking at the big blockbusters. You have Amazon, who is judging Rings of Power against how successful Game of Thrones was. And you have bean counters in charge of shows now, and they're ending shows because they're not as popular as X popular show. They don't understand that there is niches that people will enjoy and consume content for. They think that if you're not getting the biggest audience, then you might as well not get any audience at all.
Or worse, you have people like the people running The Witcher, where they're completely ruining the entire lore to the point where the guy playing, it's like, you know what, I'm fucking done.
Right, exactly, and that's the other reason as to why you have a bunch of content.
The Witcher is now going to fail because Henry Cavill left, and that at least might send the correct message.
It might.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Unlikely. The problem is you have all of these Hollywood writers who probably wrote fan fiction at some point, and they want to make their mark on the world, air quotes, but they don't have a creative bone in their body. So what they come up with is just remaking Lord of the Rings, remaking Star Wars, remaking insert popular fan medium here, and they're told by the company and the bean counters that they have to produce more of this content, but they want to produce their super original OC garbage. But because they always grew up being told by a bunch of faceless nobodies that their writing was great and fantastic, they have to leave their mark on the next generation of writing for Lord of the Rings or The Witcher or Star Wars. And so they massively changed all of the lore to fit more into their world, and so they can leave their mark on the medium.
That's the Writers Guild of America or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
This shit is all... They're all remakes these days. Nobody wants to take the risk of investing in anything original, and the remakes are all fan fiction, basically.
Yeah.
Fanfic with a budget.
I mean, it's like, take Andromeda for a great example, as I'll never stop fucking using this, is one of the writers, not the main writer, admittedly, not the main writer, but one of the writers for Andromeda was a previous Asari on Asari and Asari and Asari on female human fanfic writer.
Wait,
That's
and
fast.
they really are they the one who made that Dispibu or whatever
Yes.
the fuck its name? Jesus.
What?
Fuck you. I'm not touching that. I'm gonna go get food. You explain that abomination.
Right, so are you aware of
I'm curious.
Are you aware of Andromeda?
I've got it downloaded and I keep meaning to watch it. It's got Kevin Sorbo in it, and it's supposed to be good.
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Mass Effect
I believe.
Andromeda, my dude.
Oh, Mass Effect. Yeah. I played it. It was not great.
Honestly, again, it's one of those games where I played it, I was like, oh, the combat's not that bad, but the story is just fucking forgettable trash.
Exactly. The gameplay was great. It's just there was no story.
Also, by the way, slap the old school heat coil on the Mantis sniper rifle and just win the game. Because you just one-shot everything.
Nice.
It was hilarious, but great, yeah. And so it's just like, yeah, they one of the fanfic writers for Asari Yuri Love fanfiction was hired on to the Andromeda writing team for Mass Effect, and they ended up creating this Asari character that was fucking horrendous and had a terrible story and terrible character motivations and terrible plot, and it was just all around god awful. Because
is that the one you pick up that becomes part of your crew?
Yes, and the problem is that this person, if you look up their fanfiction profile, which I believe they've since deleted and hidden because of the massive amount of backlash they got because they bragged about it on Twitter about how they were one of the writers for the Mass Effect fanfiction for the Asari plotline. You know, they got massive amounts of backlash because the story was fucking garbage. And if you looked up their fanfiction profile, they had gotten they were several thousand favorites and follows. All of the reviews were telling them that their stories were great and fantastic and oh so good, and they just got heaps and heaps of garbage praise. And when they were hiring out writers, the person was able to point to their story and how popular they were and how many people liked it. And so when they were hired out, they hired them. They looked at the story and were like, oh, well, lots of people like this, so clearly you're a good writer. And they hired them on, and they're a fucking terrible writer.
Would explain why that character always came off as aggressively lesbian.
Yeah, and it's just like, this is what I've been saying for a very long time. I started this fucking podcast back in 2016, and I've been saying it since fucking, 2012 maybe, Max? Is that eventually all these people that were writing shit fanfiction are gonna get into the industry and start writing shit movies, shit games, and shit comics, and shit anime.
Oh god, keep them away from my anime.
I mean, the anime is already going fucking downhill.
Yeah, some of it is, yeah. Not all.
I need to do a long-term psyop by video game companies. Subtly sneak funny things into the writing. No, 100%, dude, do it. 100% do it.
I can do it.
Yeah, browbeating the fans, especially in video games, that one doesn't tend to go over well, yeah. It's just like... And it's like, it's so hard to find good fan fiction these days, because all the good shit, there's like no one writing for it anymore. All of the bad shit, like fucking, everything's got fucking Loud House crossovers now. Loud House is just a garbage animated version of Full House.
And stuff that's Zoomer trash, isn't it?
It's Zoomer trash. It's all fucking Zoomer trash.
Ugh.
Like, we lost Ed and Eddie and instead got Regular Show, which was garbage. We lost Ben 10 and got Adventure Time, which was garbage. You know, we lost all of the good shit and it got replaced with garbage. Ed and Eddie was good. Fuck you.
Ed and Eddie was great. There are a few decent ones, like Rick and Morty is... It's decent.
Rick and Morty, oh god, we don't need to talk about Owl House. Jesus fucking Christ, Owl House. That show's just so fucked up.
Isn't Owl House basically an excuse for furry porn?
Furry porn, pedophilia, some possible hints of maybe rape.
Oh, and that's canonically.
I mean, Steven Universe had a lot of rape in it. Oh yeah. What do you think? What do you think all the gems fusing was?
I don't know. I've never seen this show, so
okay, so basically
I'm kept in the dark.
In Steven Universe, there was a lot of characters that were known as gems. And these gems were basically sentient crystals that formed humanoid bodies, and they could do what's known as the fusion dance, effectively, where they would synchronize themselves with the other, except this fusion dance could be forced. And by doing this fusion dance, you could also produce a child gem. So put 2 and 2 together.
Okay. Were they fusing with humans or just each other?
Yes.
Okay. And how much of that with humans was forced?
Only one time and by the main character.
So the main character force fused with a
Human.
gem. He raped her.
Human girl, yeah.
Human girl?
Yeah. A young human girl.
A young human girl, and the gem was female?
No, the gem was a man.
Okay.
And also a child.
Okay. Was a baby produced? Tell me there was.
No.
Oh, damn it, we didn't go 3 for 3.
Yeah. But yeah, Fusion's, the creators personified relationships. Yeah, this was a kid show. Yeah, it had some fucked up shit. It had the fucking Nazis in it.
Everything has Nazi illusions.
One of the themes in not like it didn't have like the literal Nazis. It had one of the themes in the show was the Nazis were right.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just kind of just like
it.
Yeah, the creators specifically said fusions were allegories for sex. Yeah. Yeah, it was
Digimon.
Yeah, it like shit was just fucking weird. If you looked beyond the initial
I thought
colors,
the creator said the opposite of that. I thought the creator was saying it wasn't supposed to be that.
No, they did say it.
Can you get a source for me then on that?
Yeah, I can send you the fucking video by I think it was ER that made it the big one.
God.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, because that's a very brave thing to admit to doing with a 12-year-old and 13-year-old being involved in that.
Oh, but you see, Max, it was accidental with them. They fell on each other, and it just happened.
He slipped, and his cock just wound up in there.
Yeah.
So okay. It sounds like a case of the author going, "Oh no, it's totally not an allegory for sex." Then later going, "Okay, yeah, it actually is."
Yeah. Yeah, I can send you the ER video on it. It's like an hour-long video of everything wrong with Steven Universe. And there's a lot of shit going on in Steven Universe that just makes you go, "What the fuck?" Not to mention slave labor. That happened. Not in the universe. To produce the show.
They did Massive Crunch too, huh?
No, I mean they literally contracted out to a Chinese slave labor house.
Not surprised. Time to go through it frame by frame and see if there are any frames of authors saying "help me."
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The two young teens fused together, and then they immediately went into a club and started drinking. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. They hit on some people or got hit on and flirted with some guys. And yeah, it was like really weird and fucked up. Yeah.
Jesus.
Steven Universe has issues. A lot of those issues. Oh, we got a 3-hour video, so I hope you're ready for 3 hours of everything wrong with Steven Universe, Max.
And Zoomers write fanfiction of this shit.
Oh, Zoomers love this shit. It's one of their favorite shows.
Well, are you surprised, given the contents?
I'm just saying, like, this is the reason why we don't got good fanfic. This is the reason why we don't got good shit. You know, they like, Steven Universe is what's popular, so everyone tried to copy not in plot copy Steven Universe, but they tried to copy the art style. They tried to copy the more floaty sort of like plot and dialogue where shit didn't really make sense.
Oh, that explains so much.
Yeah.
Like Adventure Time.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Adventure Time come first?
I actually don't know which came first.
Adventure Time
came
first.
Adventure Time was first.
Okay, there we go.
So they're really just copying Adventure Time.
Probably. Don't check out the spiritual successor to Steven Universe. Owl House is the...
Is that really supposed to...
Oh, that explains so much.
Really?
Owl House is pretty fucked up too. Yeah. Yeah. Again, this is why it's hard to find good fanfic of anything. It's either the stories that I would read fanfic for, I don't want to read fanfic for because they were good stories and I'm not really interested in seeing anything changed about them, or it's from sources where I don't really see how things could be changed, even if I wasn't like super invested in the story and loved the story. Like the story itself was just so solid in that writing a fanfic for it would basically be like just writing an original world, because changing anything would just need you to change everything.
Yeah, usually when I'm writing, it's for one of two reasons. It's either because I really loved it, but I want to change something about it, or because something about it offended me so deeply that no, I cannot let it stand.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of feel like the era for that sort of fiction, not fan fiction, just that sort of fiction that produced one of those two reactions in me, has more or less passed. Because I don't really see anything these days where I'm just like, oh, I would like to read it as something better, or I would like to read more of it because it was good.
Because it's mediocre to begin with, so you just don't care enough.
Like, I was invested in Ruby fanfic because I enjoyed the idea of Ruby. The execution of Ruby! Well,
oh, God.
I'm just gonna say right now, the fanfic authors did a better job than RT did. So,
we all know this.
Yeah. So, but even now, like, let's go into the Ruby section. Fuck it. What's Ruby under? Either anime or fucking cartoon? It's under anime, of
Cartoon.
course.
I think it's anime.
Anime. Don't know why, but yeah, let's go slap that in there, coolio. Like, we go into the Ruby section here, and it's just either going to be edgy shit, harem shit, or guys, totally listen to me, I got a fantastic, really cool, super great idea, 2 chapters in the last 7 years.
Oh, Babby's first fanfic.
Wasn't the director of Our House involved in SU? I think they were, yeah. But yeah, let's see, here we go. Carrie Yu. She really shouldn't have been there. Faye were no longer welcome on Remnant. But Blake always found parts of the human world to be relaxing and interesting. And a wry encounter turns into a faithful encounter when she meets a runaway Waishni trying to escape her betrothal. A Fae AU, where all faunus have been snapped out of existence like fucking Thanos. Alternative character interpretations. Yuri bait. Blake times Weiss. Which honestly,
that does not appeal at all.
Well, no, it's like this story is even more fucked up because this is listed as a romance hurt comfort, and it's like, okay, so Blake is now a fae, and we're supposed to read this story about a fae taking a love interest in a human and view it as anything besides eldritch horror. Because if you know if you know the source of fae stories, none of the fae stories end well for the human.
Well, no, that's because Fae are soulless monsters.
Exactly. Which I think it's very interesting that the author made the black people of Remnant into soulless monsters. Very interesting author.
Woo.
Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls was okay. It had a plot. I thought it was alright. Can't really say much more about it. So next up we got Ruby S. Why is the S there? After a night of complete despair, Ruby Rose was given the opportunity to enter Beacon Academy so that she could turn her life around. But her decision to accept had put her into something much bigger than anything she could have ever imagined. Now she and her ragtag allies are pursued by spies, kingdoms, the world's secrets, and her own painful past. This is cringe. So this is Ruby but edgy. 8 chapters, 100,000 words, 15 reviews, 27 favorites. I feel like up Liberty Kid's fanfiction, but I really don't want to know. I don't know who the fuck Liberty Kid is.
Is that an author or something else?
I have no idea. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, ER's Steven Universe video was so fucking spicy for YouTube that he had to take it. That it was taken down, and he had to put it up on fucking BitChute.
Wait, what?
ER's Steven Universe. I'm revealing all the secrets video.
The one you posted.
The one Aura posted.
Yeah. And YouTube said no bueno.
The things he revealed about what was going on in Steven Universe, yes, were so spicy that it got taken down.
That tells you it's good. Also accurate.
Liberty Kid was an old TV show. It was about 2 teenage journalists at the time of the Revolutionary War. And there was a French person in it. I literally have never heard of that.
All I come back to is the French? Really?
Yes, the French are invading.
Yes. We've decided to give them Illinois.
No, give them California.
Illinois. Okay, I want to point out we have a lot of guns and a lot of crime. Illinois is still salvageable for the United States.
Just keep telling yourself that, and I'm sure you'll go to sleep one day.
Oh, certainly more salvageable than fucking California. At least my state isn't on literal fire.
I mean, yeah, fair. Alright, let's see what this edgy story is like. Okay, so we're starting off like that. In the void of space, with its infinite motes of stars and planets, there was one world in particular, unique with its shattered moon, where a race of beings called humans came into being. I thought they were created by the god of life. So we're just gonna go full AU and ignore that? Huh?
Humans 2.0 were.
No, I'm pretty sure the lore is that they created the humans in 1.0 as well.
Or wait, no, it was 1.0 and then in 2.0 they just sprang up again somehow.
Yeah.
Because remember, the gods genocided everyone just for Salem.
Yeah, you see, they really wanted to re-release Final Fantasy XIV.
I'm not sure how that coincides with a significant amount of genocide, sir.
Do you not know the story of Final Fantasy XIV?
I'm aware, but Final Fantasy XIV made a new world. It didn't just kill everyone.
My dude. Yeah.
No, I mean, like, most of the people who were in 14 originally still existed in the new 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were the lucky survivors.
Yeah, you know why? They didn't make a new world. The old world ended because of a genocide brought on by a dragon.
Dragons, somehow the problem in every Eastern RPG.
Yeah. When we were talking about market saturation, an example of Power Rangers just hit me. The God of Darkness wanted to play Smash Bros. Ultimate. The God of Light had a Scion moment. Yes.
This is true. He is a big golden dickhead.
Indeed. Anyway, so blah blah blah, humanity, a new kind of horror. The Grimm rose up because of humans, question mark? And they hunted down the humans. And at first the Grimm were weak, but each year they grew stronger because reasons. And so hunters were born. Oh, so we're just going full AU. Hunters were just a thing since the start of time in this universe, apparently now. And aura users. And semblance users. Swearing oaths to keep people alive. Blah blah blah. Mined from the earth and refined in a forge. Dust. Again, fucking dust. God, I hate what they did to it in later seasons. Dust was the key to arming people with weapons and technologies and breakthroughs, and dust and semblances, and halted the Grimm.
Wait, they changed dust?
Huh? What?
They changed the dust?
Right, so our first introduction to dust was the Dust Shop, which was a introduction to, hey, dust is valuable enough to have a shop centered around selling it. They also sell weapons magazines here, so it's probably going to be something important involving weapons. The second time we get introduced to dust is Weiss transporting enough dust to make a terrorist blush in her suitcase in the middle of a school. And then Ruby somehow sneezes on it, setting it all off like a bomb, even though...
Despite the fact that it's been flown.
Yeah. Well, not only despite that fact...
Weiss was shaking an open container of it under her nose. She sneezed and set off that.
Yes.
Not all of it, just that.
Yeah, just that. And just that was enough to make a crater 3 meters in width.
Big boom. Big bada boom.
Yeah, a fucking single vial of dust was enough to make a crater 3 meters in width, and yet Weiss had like 30 vials of this shit in her suitcase.
She had a lot more than 30 vials, Sneaky. Look at them suitcases. They're fucking big, and she has more than one.
I know. But still...
Well, to be fair, some of those suitcases might just contain her clothes.
Point being is that we're now introduced to dust being like somehow super volatile, and then they show them grinding up the crystals or something, right? Because I know there was a moment in the show where Weiss and Ruby were working together on dust or something, and then she sneezed again and it exploded again or something.
Not that I recall, no.
Or something, I don't know. That's why I'm question marking on that one. But then it's like dust is like basically never talked about again, except it's like it comes up and it's like, oh, I shot my bullet, and like it turned into an icicle or some shit and froze his leg or something. And then they use it in their weapons for a bit. And then later seasons reintroduce dust as like this super volatile substance that could go off at the slightest touch. And so that's why they mine it manually with pickaxes.
But it's actually supposed to be really stable.
Yeah, except merely touching it would make it explode.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
It dropping from a height would have been enough to cause a chain reaction.
And here's the worst part. They could have fixed this by just going, hey, dust in its normal form, very stable.
Yeah.
But we process it into something that's basically 10 seconds away from exploding at any given time, like nitroglycerin.
It's just basically gunpowder. Shit's explosive. It reacts to shock and heat.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Like that was always our biggest problem with dust, where they were just like unable to figure out how to separate the idea of dust being volatile in one form and then not being volatile in another. And they, again, this is just what happens when writers, who are, by the way, pretty shit writers, but just as what happens when writers try to talk about topics that they have no fucking idea about, like guns. Which is wild, considering they live in goddamn Texas.
Whoa.
They live in
Liberals.
Austin. Let's not pretend here.
Yeah.
They live in one of the most liberal cities in Austin, in Texas.
Yes. Also, you've got that one motherfucker that just stabs himself with dust to get power-ups.
That
Yo,
one was okay though.
he's
That
one of
was
my
cool
favorites.
in the stupid anime sense.
that was rule of cool. I thought that was like dumb as shit, but also at the same time it's like fine.
That was the closest thing we got to Monty in a while for
let's
like
be clear.
ideas.
We all thought it was stupid. That did not change us from thinking it was cool.
Okay, yes, it was stupid, but it was cool, but it was stupid. Oh, and you never see Nora use lightning dust, like, constantly.
Yeah.
You never fucking see
never
it.
see it at all. Oh, yeah, I got a
like,
semblance.
if there's any other
With
human
her.
who should be just jamming dust into themselves, it is quite literally Nora.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see is like, why doesn't Nora just like, there's so many ways you could Norify it too, where she just carries around like, I don't fucking know, like a fucking oxygen mask, except it's filled
Piece of
with...
equipment!
Yeah, it's like she could like have an oxygen mask that she just carries around on her hip, and it's just filled with fucking lightning dust instead of oxygen, and she just...
Not even that, like Final Fantasy bracers that you put materia in. Shit like that.
Like, there's so many ways she could have gone about it, and she just doesn't. Like she could have had her hammer filled with lightning dust, and then like she pulls a lever and it like shocks the whole hammer, including her and whatever she's touching. So they get shocked, she gets shocked, and she gets a power up from it.
Well, yeah, since she's supposed to essentially just be a female Thor, yeah, why not just go the full Mjolnir?
Yeah, like literally, it's like you went with the fucking hammer, you went with the Nora Valkyrie, you gave her a fucking lightning bolt and a lightning semblance, and then you're like, oh, what if her gun is a grenade launcher that shoots hearts? It's like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's worse. It's worse because she's a motherfucking Flash when she gets lightning.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, that was revealed in Volume 3, which is also when we lost Monty, and that definitely feels like one of those was like, alright, we finally figured out what her semblance is going to be. Oh man, guys, this really makes the character seem way more airheaded than she actually is.
Right, a thermos with maple syrup and lightning dust. Yeah, it's like literally just anything. Yeah, but if you want to show Nora being quirky and not being super practical about how she goes about it,
well, I want to admit that it made her look dumb rather than airheaded.
Yeah,
because there is a difference between those two, but it's a very, very fine line.
Right, but there's ways to go about it that it could have been used, and it just wasn't. Like, if you even wanted to go farther, you could have Ren be the one with the lightning shit to prevent Nora from just going ham on everyone all the time, because she liked doing that. And so
Ren holds the stun gun.
Ren holds the stun gun effectively, yeah. and you could show him being like some sort of like super wushu, you know, dust controller, like how Weiss was more of the Western. You could have had Ren be more of the Eastern, and he does wushu bullshit with the dust, and he like shoots lightning bolts or shit at Nora at the right times to give her the power boost.
But that would be too creative, and we all know RT is not creative.
I know. Also, motherfucker just be like, Yeah, Mistral, they're like Chinese Greek. Like, fucking what?
Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't like that you're right.
Nobody likes that he's right in this case.
Yeah, it's
He's
just like
right at all.
it's just like just separate Mistral into two cultures, then. Like, don't make them Chinese Greek. Make like the western half of Mistral Greek and the eastern half of Mistral Chinese.
But that would be, I don't know, racist or something.
I mean, I can see them saying that, but yeah. Like, there's just so much easy shit they could have done that they were just like, no, let's either ignore it or make it overly complicated. And it's kind of just like, why? It's like having a Rube Goldberg machine to start your car, but then you're like, oh, I gotta get to the hospital, it's an emergency, and so you have to sit there for 5 minutes as the Rube Goldberg machine starts your car. When it's like, dude, your key is literally in your hand right now, just turn your car on. I just... I don't know. Yeah, so this story is fucking edgy. Not gonna bother with it. So Ruby, Destiny of Remnant. In the wake of the fall of Team Ranger... Wait. Oh, so we're just going to ignore that commas exist. Okay. So it's not in the wake of the fall of Team Ranger. It's in the wake of the fall, comma, Team Ranger sets out to bring Cinder to justice.
I see. So apparently, Team Ranger is very upset that fall has ended.
Yeah. And now they're gonna go arrest someone.
Came.
Yeah.
Winter came.
Yeah, I know what joke you're trying to make with that.
Sneaky, do you really?
Yeah, it took 6 seasons to show that their weapons actually got damaged.
Their weapons get damaged now?
Oh, yeah. And then they quickly reverted that.
But they use aura specifically to enhance the weapons. I don't see how the weapon gets damaged without you also taking aura breaking damage.
Because it really shows how much effort they were doing to fight that one robot.
That's fucking retarded.
Yeah. It's why it never got brought up or shown again.
Still fucking hated that giant robot design. Being given like the paladin designs.
I hated the fact that they tried to go full Gurren Lagann with it.
That was actually kind of great.
It was so dumb because there was no run up to it. It was like they just told it's like they just fucking hit you with the punchline, and there was no lead up, and it's just like, why? You didn't.
You're expecting too much from RT, Sneaky.
I know.
You keep making that mistake.
It's a mistake I will forever make, expecting things out of people. Cinder fall to justice while the new Fall Maiden overlooks her master's plans in Haven City. What the fuck is Haven City? Is that...
Wait, hey...
Is that Mistral?
I don't remember.
I think Haven is an academy.
Yeah, Haven's the academy.
Yeah, this is a city.
It's the academy in Mistral.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why Haven City sounds familiar, because it's from the Jak and Daxter games. It's the name of the big city in Jak and Daxter. This isn't a crossover, is it?
No.
What?
The fuck did they get Haven City from, then?
I think they just invented it. Meanwhile, Weiss tries to help a friend, and Yang struggles with loss of arm, and Blake deals with guilt over White Fang.
Feeling guilt over getting her friend's arm cut off and then abandoning her friend and teammate.
Oh no, I think she's guilty over the fact that the White Fang was once again slandered by the mainstream news.
Oh yeah, you're right. That sounds more like Blake.
For their completely peaceful protest. Their mostly peaceful protest. Look, there was only a little bit of rioting and death and massacres.
Fiery, but mostly peaceful.
Indeed. Oh yeah, also for some reason Atlas was the only country that was investing into any sort of military tech at all, period. Instead of relying on sending out child soldiers to die to protect towns, which had no means of protecting themselves.
Technology is hard, but child soldiers are disposable.
Well, yes, I agree with you. Child soldiers are disposable, except for the one small issue of we never really got a clear number on the population. So either they're sending out child soldiers as their population numbers are rapidly declining, or they're sending out child soldiers because they have so much population.
It's population decline. It has to be. Also, reminder that Ironwood tried to do away with the child soldiers, and he's the bad guy for it.
Yes. He also tried to do away with being the world police, and he's also the bad guy for that, too.
Yep. The worst fucking character assassination.
Now, how dare he not use his nation's military and resources to protect everyone else?
Yes, how dare
he fight
this normal. Nation.
We know that happens with America. If we're the world police, we're bad. If we're not the world police, we're also bad.
Yeah, I know.
Fair.
Doesn't make it any less dumb, man. Doesn't make it any less dumb. Oh yeah, they also live in an age of peace, which is why they need to sacrifice child soldiers on the Shrine of Grimm. Yeah, they also had no automation at all, ever. They had war mechs that could totally fight wars against the Grimm, but what's that? Factory lines? Pfft, what are those? Just use slave labor.
They had some level of automation.
No, they had faunus.
Be very careful what your next words are, son.
I'm just yeah.
I can sense the stupidity.
I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying the world was very, very anachronistic in terms of what was apparently researched and what apparently fucking wasn't. Because apparently they never heard of the radio, but for some reason they were able to invent worldwide wireless.
More like worldwide Bluetooth because of the absolute dog shit range.
No,
and the absolute dog shit security protocols.
I think at some point they explain it as like aura and Grimm and dust and blah blah magic in the air bullshit interferes with signals, so we can't use anything but this because it's the only thing that cuts through it. Maybe in a world of Remnant.
I've never heard of that. No.
I thought it was in some World of Remnant bullshit or some released thing in some errata or some shit.
I mean, no, I can understand why cabling wasn't really put to use too much, because you'd have to like drive trucks out and consistently protect them for literally months on end as they drop cables.
Yeah, like, and here's the thing: it wouldn't even take a malicious act by the Grip, like a fucking Borbatusk rolling through.
Well, not a Borbatusk rolling through, but a creep burrowing, or someone crashing their car because they got attacked by Grimm, or someone using their semblance to upturn the earth, or
burrowing.
Yeah, like I already said that. You know, like there's a bunch of other reasons as to why cabling could get cut. that didn't involve active Grim issues. And on top of all of that, when you wouldn't want to use, like, for example, if we're using Vale, if we're saying cable are being laid out from Vale going towards all of the towns in the non-protected zone of Vale, you wouldn't want Vale to be the hub. You would want to create a hub out in the wilderness to then lay cable from to other places. But
Yeah.
hubs are obviously extremely vulnerable.
Also, pretty noticeable by the angry, pissed off evil
Faunus
super
and
bitch.
villains and literally anyone with a problem or chip on their shoulder or dumb teenagers or military people from not your side.
Like, I mean, shit, it only took one angry teenager with a fucking USB plug to cripple world communications and take over the robots.
Oh, I honestly, I blame near field communication more than anything else on that one.
Yeah, but, like, it was still an absolute, complete, and utter lack of protocol.
Like, there's a reason why you don't allow near field communication on basically any device to this day, because near field communication is fucking garbage with its security protocols.
Well, IT security, what's that? We can't have that or it'd kill our plot.
Yeah, right. Also, apparently, the fucking battleship doesn't even have a DMZ.
Oh no, everything's just out in the open, sneaky, complete open protocols because no one would ever be able to crack it. It's super secure. Its password is password 123.
Yep.
It hurts. But yeah. So there's a reason why I can understand why outside of the cities I can see wireless being the main method of transportation, because I mean we use satellites like that for a very long time, and we also use radio for that shit as well. But it's like inside these cities, I don't really understand why they're not using wired, because unless they're fucking baking the whole city in 5G wireless.
Oh, they absolutely are.
Like, that might go to explain why everyone's fucking idiot ball retarded. Everyone's so fucking irradiated. Oh, God.
Have you seen these new studies where they're coming out? They're medical studies where they show that people who use cell phones a lot are starting to develop tumorous growths on the sides of their heads.
Here's me not being shocked by this information in the slightest.
Yeah, but that's the people who use cell
asses.
phones constantly. Like,
oh, also on your ass or on your leg or wherever you carry it in your pocket. On your boobs.
Yeah, and that's why I keep my cell phone in a side pocket, usually in my cargo pants or I
keep mine directly next to my junk in the hopes that someday it will remove my ability to produce children, and no one can blame me for it.
Oh, don't worry,
You
won't produce children anyway.
Oh.
I mean, no, that's I can point to several instances where that was in fact a concern.
No, I know. You're not Ricky.
There's been at least 10 incidents.
I, on the other hand, will become a grand sage and will ascend to become a Buddha.
It will not happen because you're too dense to realize when it could have.
Yes, I see Aura is hard at work posting all of the Steven Universe horror shows. Oh shit, the Liberty Kit! Oh fuck! That show! Oh shit!
I still haven't heard of it.
I saw a small piece of that show when I was way the fuck younger.
Yeah, I saw maybe like 1 or 2 episodes.
Get my independence sign, declare it on the dotted line.
When did it come out?
I would say, what, 98? 96? It's gotta be, right?
I had 5 fucking channels at that point, so that, yeah, no, I didn't see it unless it was on Fox, CBS, NBC,
2002
ABC,
to
PBS.
2003. Well, okay, well that explains
I
this.
think it was PBS.
One
wasn't it?
year. It was out for 1 year.
Oof. Yeah, that was a PBS show, wasn't it?
I don't know. PBS Kids, yeah. Yeah. Plot: Benjamin Franklin and 4 fictional associates of his experiences during the time of America's Revolution. Although the series spans 16 years from the Boston Tea Party in 1773 to the ratification of the Constitution in 1789, no character ages except for Benjamin Franklin. All right. Well, the more you know, I suppose. Anyway.
Well, the Simpsons are effectively immortal. Everybody in Springfield, anyway.
It's from all the radiation they dump into the water.
Damn it, I was about to say it's from the radiation.
Great minds think alike, what can I say? But yeah, so this Ruby Destiny of Remnant story has 93 chapters. 1.8 million words. 100,000. I'm just kidding. 1,200 reviews. It's only 664 favorites. Ongoing since 2016. Wait, ongoing since 2016? So you've been going for 6 years. You got 93 chapters. So that puts you at like.
Holy shit! I forgot about that. Fucking
2 chapters a week, would you say? Is my math right? 2 chapters a week, 6 years? No. It would be... Hold on. Carry that one. A chapter every 6 weeks? No, a chapter every 4 weeks. Yeah, a chapter every 4 weeks. Alright, so 1 chapter a month for 6 years. And it's at 1.8 million words. So those were pretty hefty chapters. About 18,000 words every month. Not bad. Not bad. New canon of both Destiny and Ruby dropped. I wonder how the author incorporated the new canon. Were they clairvoyant about future plots like I was with my fix back then? Highly unlikely. You have to consider that this is in fact a Ruby author, so they're likely mentally retarded.
Or RT just cribbed from their stuff.
Or RT cribbed from their stuff, yes. Now, I will say that it will be... So, new lore dropped with Dragonlands in World of Warcraft. And Gray and I, again, were once again ahead of the times.
Hardly surprising.
Because we had Alex Straza, the dragon aspect of life, get...
Sahari, yes.
Get what would you call it, Gray? Mind jacked, body jacked, sort of mind control, brainwash. Okay, anyway, so basically Taylor used her ability to control things on Alexstrasza when Alexstrasza was on the brink of death, and was kind of sort of puppeting her body around, but her mind was still intact and resisting Taylor. You would need to rewrite your fic like it was 1984. Nah, man. All of our lore in our story has been canonized by Blizzard. That's just how fucking good we were. There is basically no lore in our story that was contradicted by any of the lore drops that Blizzard has created. It's been great. Gray and I have just been calling shit left and right since before the Shadowlands was even announced as the next expansion.
So wait. Big titty redhead dragon mommy gets mind controlled?
Yes.
Yes.
Damn it.
And then
I assume you were writing something degenerate?
he's probably thinking something degenerate.
No, I was thinking about it.
Yeah, exactly. So basically what then happens later on is that Taylor is trying to create a moonwell, except she doesn't exactly know how a moonwell works, and so she just tries to shove a bunch of purifying moonlight into a well. Which works in that it creates a well of purifying might. Not exactly a moonwell, but it's a well filled with magic now.
Hey! I promise you, whatever goes in there, it'll be pure. Also not exist, but very pure.
Actually, that is one of the things that is occurring. It is de-existing some shit. Because it's not in pure
Sneaky.
form. I know. You
Like, I know just enough about, WoW to be like,
yeah.
That's the anti-human button.
Yeah, it's
bad.
It's de-existing some shit, and what ended up happening to Alexstrasza, because she got caught point blank at the pure well explosion, as we're calling it, is that all of the control magic Taylor had on the dragon is now just part of her. As in, it's not magic enchanting the dragon anymore, it's now just part of the dragon. Is Taylor's control.
So she's permanently brain jacked.
Yes. Except it gets better.
And is she still aware?
Oh yeah, they're aware of it. Yeah, they're just fully aware of it all. Yeah.
And she can't fight back. Can she communicate?
Yeah, she can. Taylor lets her talk and do everything, because Taylor at one point made it very explicit of like, I'm the dog, you're the tail. Because we had Alexstrasza describe it as like trying to fight yourself to not scratch an itch. Except that was everything that Taylor was having her do, because it was just like, it wasn't mind control anymore, it was quite literally her just wanting to do it. But she wanted to do it because Taylor told her to do it.
Yeah, I remember reading a story, which I initially started reading because it talks about this kid who discovers how to be a necromancer in a world where people hate necromancy, but it got really weird because she picks up a girlfriend who can do like biomagic, and this dude kills her family. So her girlfriend's like, oh, I'm going to break this guy in the most painful way I can. So she starts making him into a woman. Yeah. And like at one point she just gets so tired of him whining, she just slowly alters his brain chemistry to like it.
Okay.
And then of course, credit to the author. The author does go into the fact that A, it's fucking horrifying, and B, at some point, it stops. It continues to be terrible, even though the individual then says, "No, it's fine. I like being like this."
Right. I think I actually know what story you're talking about.
That sounds like Panacea.
Anyway, no, so what the lore reveal in Dragonlands was was that the Titans put chemicals in the water to turn all of the dragons into order slaves.
I was hoping you were going to say make the frogs gay, but...
I was going to make that joke, but I felt like Twitch wouldn't appreciate it.
I mean, here's the thing. When we're obviously making it as a joke and making fun of the guy who said it, it's probably fine.
Okay, that's fair enough. But yeah, they were putting chemicals in the water to make the dragons gay. No, but quite literally, their new lore drop occurred. They found this tome that was like, oh, we found the dragons were corrupted by the old god who got access to the water of life, and it put corruptive essence into it. And so now we have to filter all of the water of life to get all the corruptive essence out. Also, while we're filtering it, we might as well put some order mind control juice in there to make the dragons pliant to order and control magic. And I'm just kind of sitting here like, pliant to order and control magic looks at our fucking story. Wow, that's convenient!
Yeah, I have to... How many chapters do you guys have done? Because, like, I specifically stopped reading your story for one reason, and that was, their update rate is glacial.
We're done book 2.
Alright. That'll keep me busy for a couple of days.
We are starting on book 3 right
Yeah,
now.
we're at 180k words and we're starting on book 3. And I'm predicting we have 3, 4, and maybe book 5 left.
Yeah.
3 and 4 definitely. I'm not sure if 4 is going to be able to fit the finale in or not.
4 is probably not going to be able to fit the finale. There's a lot going on in the finale.
Yeah.
Oops, we accidentally made book 5.
No, it's not so much oops as it's just like we actually have known pretty much the entire plot since we started, more or less. With the first chapter, we kind of just threw it out there as like a test, and then a lot of people fucking liked it, and so we're like, we kind of sat down, we're like, okay, what's the general arcs that we're going to go through, and what do we have to cover? And so we've known more or less from the beginning what we were going to do. It's more just us figuring out how long each of those are going to take now. Because, you know, we were like, oh, well, we'll just write a single, like, 5,000 word fight scene, and then 25,000 words later, the fight scene's over. But, yeah. Helljumper! John Ark had to prove himself! Period. Sure, he didn't look like much, but at this point, he was the best they had. The war against the Grimm cost money, but it cost even more in lives. And John found himself on a team known as the Helljumpers, a team of replaceables, just like him. And now they were going to be launched into the middle of the war zone and pray they could get out alive. The Helljumper team is composed of the following main characters: John, Cardin, Sun Wukong, Crow.
What? In what
One of
universe
these is not like the other.
Yeah.
In what universe is Crow expendable?
Crow is obviously the team leader. He's the grizzled veteran.
Yeah, obviously. Also, why the fuck would you launch people into the middle of Grimm infestations?
Recovering ancient technology. There. Done. Plot.
You know what? I honestly would have less issue with Ruby if they just went with a Wings of Liberty plot.
Really?
Yeah. Like, come on. You cannot tell me a fight-a-day structure to that story would not lend itself towards collecting the alien or non-alien ancient artifact that pulses would destroy Grimm, and that the plan was to eventually assemble the whole machine and bring it to Salem's castle in one grand final battle, and then blow away Salem's evil to either disintegrate her or save her.
Or possibly just get some of that evil booty.
Like, come on, you cannot tell me that Ruby ending like Wings of Liberty would not at least be more satisfactory than what the fuck is going on right now.
Okay, you're right, but I want it to be Ruby that gets it. Like, blows it away, and then it's Ruby that gets it, while what's-his-face is left in the cold. Just
Ozpin?
because otherwise the writers won't be satisfied and it won't be woke enough.
I heard evil booty.
Did you ever play Wings of Liberty?
What is Wings of Liberty?
StarCraft 2?
Pain. This heathen.
StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty was the Terran campaign. And basically the plot of that campaign was that you found this ancient alien device that with every pulse it created, it would destroy the Zerg around it. And when fully assembled, it could free Kerrigan, James Raynor, the main Terran character's girlfriend, who is now super evil.
Yep.
And so the final end of that campaign was this giant fuck-off battle that was absolutely awesome, and every time you had a giant wave coming towards you, you're barely holding off, and then you can either use the artifact to pulse out and destroy that wave of Zerg, and then it takes longer to charge up for the big pulse, or you can try and throw resources and men at the problem until you get the final charge built, and then you release this giant fuck-off fusion neutralizing wave bomb, and then Sarah Kerrigan's hot again.
Well, and like the entire time, like your allies are showing up, right? Like
everyone you've helped over the course of the campaign shows up and contributes their part, and it was really cool. It was fun.
Right. Sometimes they're just showing up with troops. Sometimes it's.
And the best part is a lot of those
resources.
people were optional too, so if you didn't do the optional objectives and the side missions, they wouldn't show up. So the main campaign mission got even harder.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good.
Implying Kerrigan wasn't hot when she was the Queen of Blades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's rephrase that. She was hot and safe to touch.
Well, she's not really safe to touch as a ghost because she'll just break you with her brain, but
no, I'm sorry. I mean, it's possible to have a relationship with her.
Oh, yeah.
Like, listen, if you want to try for the Queen of Blades, you can, but
you're probably gonna get turned into a Zerg.
You're probably getting fucking
just
minced. Yeah, tortured to death. Raven Dagger was right. Salem would simp for post GM Taylor. Probably a little bit.
Probably?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's not something I want to think about.
Yeah. What happened to Heroes of the Storm? Who the fuck cares? It was a shit game anyway. I'm sorry, if I can pick one hero and win constantly with that hero, just for the sole fact that nothing in the game was designed for me to have the ability to have 3 times the range of everyone else.
Yeah.
Jesus, that sounds cheaty.
Oh, it's super cheaty. You played as a siege tank from StarCraft, and the longer you were stationary when in artillery mode, the longer your range got, and then you could get
more damage you got.
No, that was another ability upgrade. That the longer your range got, the more damage you did, and also another upgrade you get was the longer.
So you just wipe away anything that approaches. Heavy artillery for the win.
It was bullshit. I was literally like 4-shotting heroes, and I was able to shoot down tower and bases from like way far away, and nothing could stop me.
Well, see, and here's the thing. We paired it in the most Terran fashion possible. I was just running around as a ghost.
And
like,
assassinating people,
Here's the thing. I was fully capable of like murdering people on my own, but it was so much easier to just run around stealth and laugh as
I just killed people.
giant tank shot comes out of the sky and they go, oh my god, why is a quarter of my health missing? Oh my god, it happened again. Oh god, what do I do? And I'm just following them, giving sneaky vision.
Yeah. Like
Wow.
my area of attack was twice my vision range.
Oh damn! And because you could see what he saw.
Yeah. It was so stupid, so incredibly unbalanced. It was like the game. It was cool, don't get me wrong. I loved some of their ideas where one of the heroes was known as Ragnaros, the Lord of Fire, and whatever lane he was in, he would constantly cast this giant wave of fire that would start at your base.
Well, no. His ultimate was to replace a tower and throw the giant waves of fire.
Well, no, he also had that one ability that casted the wave of fire from your base and went all the way down the lane.
Oh yeah. He had like a two-part ability, but yeah. Anyway, listen,
so cool.
The optional objectives they had on the map, were great.
The game was just fucking dog shit, though. Like, it was just so insanely unbalanced, dog shit, pay to win.
Whatever heroes knew is going to fucking wreck shop.
And you had to buy them with real money.
Of course.
Yeah. Here's
you know what? I'd rather buy a hero with real money than buy a gacha.
I mean, that's fair. But if you want to do that, I just do that in StarCraft 2, because you have to play what's called Commander Mode. And basically, Commander Mode is like, hey, do you want to do PvE games against AI? Except instead of having the 3 factions you can play as these like super specialized ideas of the various factions. Like, if you really like having all of your units have abilities that they can activate individually, play as Nova. If you really like the idea of just having a giant fuck-off death ball, you play as the Zerg commander. You know, it's like, it was cool, and all of the commanders had way different play styles. One guy was literally just, fuck having a base, fuck having units, you're Godzilla.
Also, play siege tanks. What was the one who was like, all the old Terran tech is still great, I'ma spam that?
I think that was Raynor.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was Raynor, I just wasn't sure. Like, it's just like, you know what? You know what's cool? Motorcycles with grenade launchers are cool, bitches.
Yeah, that was Raynor. But yeah, like, the commanders were just cool. Yeah, you had to buy each commander individually, and yeah, it was like $4 each, but like, it was just fun. Playing as their units was just fun. But anyway, the fate of kings. The world of Remnant Massive AU. The journey will follow the lives of a completely original team, and the ripple effects they'll have on this take of the original show's series of events. I like how they say the original show, as opposed to what, like everything past season 3?
Yeah, I know, right?
There will be a new summary at the start of every volume I do. Also now on AO3, oh boy. 60 chapters, 198k words, ongoing for 2 years. 63 favorites. Oh, it could also mean Ice Queendom, that's a good point, yeah. Life at Beacon wasn't exactly the easiest place in the world. It's hard enough to be part of the famous academy, but thanks to suicidal exams, Team Ruby, an odd string of bad luck, and a vow of bad blood, Team Ritalin was in for a world of hurt.
Team Ritalin.
I'm calling them Team Ritalin because I don't know how the fuck to pronounce this.
Spell it.
RTLS. You see why I'm calling them Team Ritalin?
Yep. Team Arts.
Team Artistic.
Oof.
Yeah, so I mean their spag isn't bad, but still, it's kind of just cringe. You have a fucking OC team, and they're off doing all these cool shit, and it's like, alright, cool, whatever, I guess. I don't know, man, just write your own story if you're gonna write an OC team in an AU world of Ruby. Like, at that point, just... it's an AU world of Ruby, with a completely original team doing completely original plot. Like, I don't know. I just feel like we've kind of drifted away from the Ruby part of the story.
Well, they still want to use the framework for Ruby so they can have, characters you recognize come in at some point for cameos.
Yeah, I know. Oh no, we got some dude updating like 9 stories in a row. Cool.
Is it Core?
It's not Core. Does Core even write Ruby anymore?
I think
Probably.
so.
I'm honestly not sure he knows how to write anything about that at this point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, Max, it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Can we go play Gundam?
The arc between universes, John Multiverse Reaction Fic.
What?
I don't know what this goes. By the way, Sneaky, you are at your 3rd ad break for all this nonsense.
Good.
Since we're on an ad break,
Yeah.
Listen, the Devil May Cry HD collection is on sale. If for some reason you haven't played Devil May Cry, fucking buy this.
Yeah.
Don't play
I'm
3.
not interested in DMC. Like, at all.
I'm
I
interested
tried it
in the
once.
story of DMC, but the gameplay is just not my vibe.
Hey, listen.
And not even the story. The story is edgy as fuck.
It's so edgy.
He's a half angel and he's got a sword and a gun, and his brother's a half devil, and yada bullshit.
They're
blah.
both half devils. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they're both half demon.
Oh, that makes it better.
Yes, actually.
No.
And his
I wanna
sword's
point out-
called Rebellion. He's a rebel.
No, it's actually because his dad was the rebel. He's just a poser.
Devil is a crybaby.
Yes, actually.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
You know, I kind of would actually like to see that as like a manga now, where like you get introduced to this kid. It's like taking place in like modern Japan. You get introduced to this kid, and he's just like super fucking chuny about everything. And then it's like this sort of slice of life story, but then later on you find out it's like, no, actually his dad was like some sort of fucking demon that rebelled against the demon lord, and his mother was like some sort of like super priest, and he's kind of just trying to like figure out who the fuck he is with this kind of family in modern Japan, where neither of these are really a problem anymore.
Look, all I'm saying is go watch that, because there's an listen. It may be one of the best cutscenes in gaming history, just because it's stupid.
Well, did you send him the fucking roses one?
Of course I did.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh, God.
Sneaky, what else am I gonna send him?
I don't know.
It's one of the best dumb cutscenes in the entirety of gaming history, sir.
In the aftermath of the battle at Beacon, a depressed Yang falls in love with John because he was there for her.
Okay.
That's it.
Not seeing a problem. So it's just a romance thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But I don't see a problem with this.
No, I kind of just find it cringe. It's like, oh, John, you're the only thing that's near me. I love you.
No, the author explicitly said he was the one, who was actually there for her. Not because he was in proximity, but because he tried.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but still it's a proximity thing, because Ruby abandoned her, Blake abandons her, Weiss abandons her.
Oh, so the author went full retard with it.
No, they just kept it to canon, and except John didn't leave. That's the thing that they're changing about canon.
Okay, so the author went full retard with it.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, no, that sounds a lot more cringe.
Elder Grimm! The Salem War is over, and Team Ruby returns to their ordinary lives as huntresses.
They're what?
Each
What?
dealing with everything they've lost or gained, stepping into a new age. But even without the Queen, darkness stirs, and long-forgotten enemies awaken in the remote corners of Remnant. A Weiss times
The
Yang
enemy
story.
is Atlas.
No, the enemies are quite literally Grimm, that Salem's presence suppressed, and they're the ancient leaders of the Grimm, the secret super alphas.
Oh, shit.
They are the Elder Grimm.
You know what I would prefer? I would prefer actual Eldar. Just 40k Eldar. For some reason, the elves really fucking hate the humans on this planet. Boom, go.
Elves are hot. It can all be
yes.
fixed with someone's dick.
No. No, that led to a chaos god, sir.
Well, we're gonna get another one.
Sneaky, should I tell him about the gaping hole in the fabric of reality, or just kind of steer him towards Cadia?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and that's all for tonight. You come back here Tuesday, you hear, because there's always more and it always gets worse.